Hi, I'm Norm Norlander. I'd like to share with you one of my favorite Mayfly patterns. This is my version of what's called a Chapaka emerger. This is what the fly will look like. It's normally sizes 12 down to maybe 16 or possibly even 18. And it's designed to represent the Calabatus mayflies that we find here in our lakes in the Northwest. Very, very effective fly. It happens that very often the trout will really key on the emergers, pretty much ignoring the duns and even sometimes the nymphs. Okay, let's take a look at the materials we're going to use. What I've laid out here is really all we need. We're going to start out with the tail. I'm using some dark deer hair. The body itself will be composed of a mixture. This is a kind of a gray-brown mixture of rabbit fur. It's got quite a bit of the guard hairs left in it. And for the trailing shuck that we're going to use, I like to use a little bit of Gary LaFontaine's Antron. This adds a little sparkle to it and makes that shuck that we see that's very prominent with the emerging mayflies. Now the thorax cover and the forward wing, we're using some coastal deer hair. I'm going to tie this on a size 12 dry fly hook, like so. I think you'll find that this is pretty good. It's easy to follow, and after you've made a couple, it's a real easy fly to tie. Okay, now let's get started with the Chapaka merger. Okay, now we're going to get started. I'm going to use a size 12 dry fly hook here. And we set the hook in so that the shank of the hook is right at the top of the jaws. So when we rotate the Nor-Vise, the shank, this part right here, is perfectly centered. We'll begin by what's called dressing the hook. I'm using some 8/0 thread this time. The color matches the dubbing, which is kind of a dun gray. Run your thread down like so. And when you get to the point of the hook, right there where we're catching it, reach right into the gape with your bobbin and just go a little bit further, about halfway to the barb, okay? Now for the tail, we're going to use 3 strands of this dark deer hair. And I know fish can't count, but what the heck, let's not take a chance. So let's use 3 just like the real mayflies have, okay? So we'll pull out 3 deer hairs and lay those in so that they extend about the length of the body itself. And what I like to do is just lay them in with a soft loop like that, just to attach them. Next, I'm going to take a small amount of Antron. This will simulate the trailing shuck that these mayflies often exhibit. So just take a few strands of Antron like this. Don't want to overdo it, guys. That looks just about perfect. And lay those in so they might extend a little bit beyond the tails even. Again, a soft loop. Now we can take the tail and the Antron shuck together, lash it down nice and tight like so, and trim off the end. Okay? Next we're going to use some dubbing. This is a rabbit fur mixture. It is about the right color. It's kind of a gray-brown color. It has a few guard hairs in it. And we're going to take and dub on a very thin body like this. You see how you start here at the eye of the hook and lay in just a little tiny bit of dubbing like so. Very, very nice. Okay? Now we want the back end of this to be quite slender, so we're going to tighten the dubbing. Hold it right here, give it a spin, and you see how it just tightens right up. We can come back here, and what I like to do is go down like this all the way to our tie-in point where we've fastened the tail and the shuck. Come back forward, just build up a little bit of a taper to it, about like that. Okay? Now we've ended up, we've got roughly 1/3 the distance between the eye and the back of the hook. And that's where we're going to tie in our wing case or covert. I'm using some coastal deer hair. This is our local black-tailed deer. It makes really nice body material, and especially for this type of thing, it's a little bit finer than the mule deer or whitetails that we have. So what I've done here is I've selected a little bunch, and this is kind of a trial and error thing. I wish there was some way to say exactly this amount, but that's about right. Lay the tips so that they go back about as far as the tail fibers, and then we'll come around at our 1/3 tie-in point, couple soft loops like this, pull it up a bit. And what I like to do is trim off the top first before I let go with my left hand, and it makes it a lot easier trimming. Okay, now you can pull that back, maybe take one more or two more nice tight wraps. Okay, take a little pinch of dubbing, about like so, same dubbing that we used for the back part of the fly, and lay in enough material like that for the thorax. Okay, now we're going to come around about there and roll that in like so. Secure it with a half hitch. And we'll pick up this wing material, fold it forward, straighten it out a little bit like so. Okay, couple nice firm wraps, pull it up, get in front. What I like to do is start out with a half hitch here, and then come back and whip finish right on top of my half hitch. There we go. That's a wonderful little fly, and believe me, it really works great. You'll love it.